Next, we've got another all-star and former NBA champion, Kyrie Irving, who can be a free agent next summer. The forecast has the Knicks barely over the Celtics as the team that he's most likely to play for. So, Ethan, do you agree that Kyrie could be headed to the Knicks?
Doesn't it just seem so Knicks? This seems so Knicksy, doesn't it?
It does.
It's a guy who's a big name scorer, big name one-on-one scorer, perhaps on the wrong side of some injuries, but man, he's an all-star, and they could be getting him at the exact wrong time. It's just hard for me to see anything as Knicksy as this scenario, and considering that the Celtics have done so well without him, that's my best guess.
You know, as you say that, Ethan, it reminds me almost the same vibe that Carmelo Anthony had when he went to New York as the savior of the franchise and this isolation scorer that can carry you. It kind of feels that same way. I've got Kyrie, I think, staying in Boston. I think he'll stay put. I think that he can check a lot of boxes there. And for him, in terms of a career, like Kevin said, you got the incumbent. It's not as if he wasn't successful there last year. His star can rise. He could win an MVP in Boston. I think he'll stay there.
Yeah, and this is an incumbent that's going to win by like 50% of the vote, right? Or 75% of the vote. My best intel is that the Celtics and Kyrie have a pretty good mutual understanding that he wasn't going to trade it in the offseason and that there are long-term aspirations for both parties. Anything can happen over the course of an 8-month season, but I kind of like him staying.
See, I like the Knicks. Producer Steve, I know he's not here today. He's a big Knicks fan. So I think he's going there. I think, Jersey kid, I think all that makes sense for all the reasons Ethan illustrated too, which is it's the most Knicksian thing to do is to bring the kid from Jersey
People will
there.
show up to watch him.
They did it with Marbury. They'll do it with him. And look, they can create some potential flexibility if they trade some pieces to potentially pair him with someone else that's not just Porzingis.
What's in it for Kyrie other than New York? I mean, we saw when he made that list, I thought it was really interesting when he was on the block, right? San Antonio was on that list.
Right.
Why? Because it was an organization that would take care of him.
Minnesota was on that list because Jimmy Butler, right? Which is another potential free agent. Right. So I think we'll get to that because I think that can say some of the stuff or give us some of the answers to what we're looking for here. The forecast has Butler joining the Knicks as well, followed by the Lakers, T-Wolves, amongst 11 teams who received votes for Jimmy Butler. So, Kevin, do you believe Butler could end up with the Knicks if you don't think Kyrie will be there?
Nah.
All right.
Oh.
You're striking out, Knicks, according to Arnovitz.
All right, so my favorite cultural fit, even though they have a ton of guys who have player options, so they're not going to be able to fit him, and you're going to like to hear this, I love Jimmy Butler as a Miami Heat.
Oh, I think that's a possibility.
Just culturally, I mean, they'd have to get off a lot of those salaries because
Yeah.
they just don't have the room and they're carrying a lot of salary. I just like it as a cultural fit. He's kind of perfect for them.
Well, and Dwayne Wade, if he comes back to play for one more season, I can see him and Jimmy are very close. I can see that kind of being an alliance, at least to help him get there potentially. Miami may have some pieces that Tibbs may want, right? Maybe more so than the Knicks would. I still think Kyrie and Jimmy end up in New York together because I do think they want to play together.
I don't feel like I have a good read on Jimmy Butler personally. There's a number of teams I think that you could put out there that make sense for him, and he's one of those guys of what do you want? What do you want in a franchise? Do you want to be the face? Do you want market? Do you want winning? What are the things that you're looking for? And I don't know that I have a great feel for that.
Right.
He's been in the big market in Chicago, and he was the face of a franchise. He's been in Minnesota where they're a better team maybe, and they have an opportunity to win this season. I've got him as the Knicks. I don't even really like what I've even written. I don't know. I don't know who I like.
He wants structure.
Yeah.
I mean, he is
Miami will give him that.
Perfectionist structure guy and wants serious team.
Yeah, Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley.
Right. We don't believe in the Wolves that much. We got nothing for the incumbency.
Nope.
I mean, they've got a pretty good core out there. I know he's a little bit cantankerous with his comments, but they couldn't woo him back.
No, he hates those guys clearly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boom.
I mean, I'm just speculating, but it
Sorry,
seems pretty obvious he
Minnesota.
hates.
And you don't like the weather anyway.
I don't like
That's
the weather.
true.
And I will say it is nice that they built all this tunneling system there, so you don't actually have to interact with it. But that's also maybe an indicator that it's not the warmest place in the world.
Best summer city in America, though.
Really? Above Chicago?
Chicago.
Oh, I don't know if I buy
Because you don't have to deal with Chicago. It's great.
Oh.
At Kevin Arnovitz.